Greetings from Johannesburg. Hi everyone. I know it's been a while since I put up my last video, but it's just been extremely hectic. And now I'm here in freezing Joburg. It's about 6 degrees in the morning, so we're doing our morning walk indoors. But one of the major, things, and the point of this video was to talk about Netflix. So I know maybe this might be late news, but everybody's been talking about the fact that Netflix's, stock price has dropped and they're in doldrums and whatnot. But I just want to kind of shed some light on the fact that Netflix is no different from any other value-added service. If you're in the telecom space and you have worked with, different products, whether it's video on demand or gaming or music or lifestyle, entertainment, whatever it is, you name it, every product goes through the same or similar, life cycles, right? So Netflix's greatest advantage was, first to market. So they built up a massive base across the world. Obviously, their technology is, phenomenal. Their backbone, their engineering, there's no doubt about it. But the advantage that they had was definitely, first to market. But now, there's only so much or so quickly you can, acquire customers, right? So just like any value-added service product, when they came out, the whole idea was to acquire customers regardless of what the cost was, right? So they started giving stuff for free just so people could try it. And then, they instituted a subscription model wherein, multiple devices, multiple people could use the same account to utilize the service. This is no different from the other services that are out there in the market. And, they just follow a similar trend. So first was, they identified which markets they were going to go with. They started, capturing, market share. They've spent a lot of money on content. And the other thing that they also had going for them is, or that differentiated them from the other people, like your Primes and Disneys and whatnot, is the fact that they actually started investing in localized content. They started onboarding, local studios, local languages. That was also a great differentiating factor. But now, considering the fact that they are pretty much there across the world, so now they have another problem. Okay, so we have millions of customers on our platform. How do we increase our revenues? So what do we do next? So that's when, they start coming up with different tiers of pricing based on your usage. If you want to watch it on multiple devices, you have to pay extra. If you want to watch it on your laptop, there's one rate. They have differential rates based on the country that the service is live in. In some countries they charge you $50 a month, but in some countries they charge you. I don't think they charge you even $50 a year. So that's a huge variation that they have to deal with. And I think a lot of the markets or the big growth markets right now for anybody in the world is basically BRIC, right? It's Brazil, it's Russia, it's India, and China. China is off limits for a lot of people simply because of all the rules and regulations that they have in place. Brazil has its own issues that they deal with: labor, the cost of doing business, so on and so on. Russia, good, but we know what's been going on with them, so that leaves India. But then the fact is, the purchasing power or the ARPU of customers in India is less than $2. So expecting, customers to pay a lot more for your service, not happening in India. Instead, you go and break it down into, more or smaller chunks that are more affordable to people, which is exactly what Netflix has been doing. And this is once again exactly the strategy that a lot of value-added services do, right? So they come up with freemium models, they come up with multi-device support, they come with pay-per-use support. the next thing, that's coming up. I think I was having this discussion with somebody else a few years ago. There is gonna that the fact that there is gonna come a point where Netflix is gonna have to, start bringing in advertising, just simply because they're not going to be able to sustain the kind of growth and the revenues that they have. And guess what? That's exactly what Netflix is doing. Um, these are the same kind of cycles, that we've been seeing in the telco space all these years, and Netflix is no different. The other thing which I feel Netflix should have done a lot sooner was get into the gaming space, because that's a place where, considering the amount of cash that they had, they really could have come up with their own platform, like what Amazon did with Twitch, or what Google is trying with Stadia. I think Stadia is also late to the game, but the whole idea is they're getting into gaming now, but it just seems like kind of like an afterthought, instead of part of their strategy. But that's okay. They're still gonna have to keep coming up with different ways to entice customers. And the biggest drawback that Netflix has, which Amazon doesn't, is the fact that yes, Amazon has Prime, Amazon has Twitch, and all these different things, but Amazon's strategy is designed to get consumers to purchase products. Netflix does not have that. Or I know that's probably taking Netflix totally away from the reason why it was even uh, founded. But then Netflix is going to have to come up with a strategy to understand, to keep customers in, because a lot of the studios that were very happy to provide their content to Netflix in the past have realized that we'll monetize it ourselves, and they're coming up with their own app. So over time, a lot of these studios that are working with Netflix, and I know they have become a studio too now, but then the content providers are not going to want to share a cut of their revenues with Netflix or anyone else for that matter. They might as well build their own app, which is not that expensive these days, and host their own content, right? And they get a lion's share of the profits. And especially if they're trying to get bought out by other companies, you're measured on the number of customers that you have on board, their daily use, the daily active usage, monthly active usage. So that's what they're gonna do. So just some quick thoughts on the current situation of Netflix right now, and how where they're headed. Advertising, is something that's definitely gonna be there. I think if you compare the growth of Spotify to Netflix, I think Spotify is probably one step ahead, than Netflix. It's so my take is they're gonna follow the exact same thing. Bring advertisers on board. Uh, they're gonna have to pitch for the rights for live TV content. It could be sports, it could be shows, whatever it is. That's how they're gonna have to expand. And exclusivity is something that people will pay for, but then they're really gonna have to think about how they're gonna keep their customers on board, because their bounce rate is increasing as time goes by, simply because of all the factors that I mentioned. So it's going to be interesting to see how Netflix, pivots its strategy over the next 6 months to a year. So that's it from me for today. I'm going to continue my walk and get started with the day. So take care. We'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.